The Catholic Men's Conference, presented by Pilgrim Center of Hope, is happening Saturday, February 22nd in San Antonio. Gain courage and direction from 3 dynamic speakers, including a Franciscan friar of the renewal. Men, this is your time to go stronger in faith and discover true purpose. Register now at cmcsanantonio.com. That's cmcsanantonio.com.
Jason, welcome back. We're going to talk about the 2025 Catholic Men's Conference, and I'm so happy it's over at Holy Trinity. St. Luke's is great too. I had fun last year, but Holy Trinity, we're having our Fishers of Men dinner there. Mm-hmm. I love that place. It's awesome. Tell us a little bit about what's going to be occurring, when it is, who's going to be there, speakers. Either one of you, Jason, Nunez, you want to take it?
Yeah, sure. So overall, something that Angela Ciliana mentioned in the first segment there when she touched on our conferences that are coming up. And yes, Gordy, you're right. St. Luke's is fantastic. We actually are having our Catholic Seniors Conference at that venue. Mm-hmm. Back to the Catholic Men's Conference, though, that is going to take place Saturday, February 22nd. And last Saturday in February, it's going to be at Holy Trinity Catholic Church Banquet Hall. That's at 2523 Huebner Road, right here in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. We will be blessed to have Mass celebrated by Bishop Macabulet, and the Mass will be celebrated in the banquet hall as well. So we're excited for that. Registration for one individual person, it's $65. We do have a father-son discount available. That's always very, very popular. You know, every year we see more and more fathers take advantage of that, which is fantastic to see. We do have an option, if you do have the means, to be what is called a centurion, which means not only do you cover your registration, but it also comes with a donation to support our ministry as well. Okay. If you're listening and you're interested and you want to attend and you happen to be clergy, religious, or seminarian, you can give us a call and pre-register, and your registration is complimentary. Once again, our phone number, it's 210-521-3377. You may be wondering, what do I get, right? What is this registration? What comes with this? Well, so this year we're actually excited to offer a full day admission from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. You will receive breakfast tacos and coffee. Very, very popular. Very good tacos. Men's conference. Breakfast tacos every year. They are a hit, believe me. Yeah. And you also receive a boxed lunch as well as a bottle of water. But beyond that, really what the conference gives you, and more importantly, is spiritual tools to live our faith daily and to continue to walk with Christ. This is an event annually that continues to provide hope to the men of San Antonio and the surrounding areas. Yeah. Every year, you know, say, for example, last year we had a record attending walk-ins register. It was packed last year. It really was. It really was. So we are aiming for even more this year, which is why we're now at of course, Holy Trinity's banquet hall. We have a larger space. Right. So we have an even bigger goal to meet here. Yeah. What's capacity there?
We really needed the new venue, Gordy, because we had 300, expecting 300 at St. Luke's. We ended up at 325. Whoa, right. So at Holy Trinity, I think the capacity is 400, and we want to meet that mark.
We certainly do. Yeah. We definitely want to fill that area and have all these men, you know, coming together, you know, all towards receiving spiritual tools and just going forward with Christ.
I guarantee you, you know, any man who attends, and if your wife out there listening and your husband's at work, or your son, you know, he's 18 and over, get them there. Yes. Because I like to look at faces, right? At retreats, at conferences, women's or men's conference. And I see the faces that come in and they look distraught. Some look, you know, just like, man, weathered, and it's been rough. Then I look at the faces after the day, after they've been there 8 hours and they've heard, you know, Stan Lang and all your speakers and Archbishop and the Mass, and it's like a bunch of glow sticks coming out the door, and they're ready to take on the world again. That's hope right there. That is hope, and it's faith, and it works. And so if you're out there and you're listening and you want to attend the conference, please sign up. There's plenty of room, and I guarantee you, you're not going to be let down. But let's talk about who you have speaking wise. And you know what? Before that, let's talk about the theme, because Master, I want to see from Mark 10:51 is your theme, and I love that theme. How'd y'all come up with that?
Right, yeah. So the theme, Master, I want to see, you know, sometimes people ask, and what's what's the theme this year, right?
Yeah.
Is it, some other events, retreats and so on, conferences may have different themes throughout the year.
Right.
Pilgrim Center of Hope has decided to maintain the same theme simply because it's timeless.
Yeah.
Master, I want to see. Very, very important part in Scripture. And I'll share more about our mission, Gordy, which also kind of speaks to the goal and also plays in part with the theme here.
Right.
The mission of the Catholic Men's Conference is to promote a deeper understanding of our dignity as being created in the image and likeness of God. That's, of course, to provide direction and resources to help transform ourselves and our families and society. Overall, the vocation of man, throughout the years and over time, it's really been diminished by within our society. Men have been portrayed as weak, vulnerable, confused, ignorant human beings. God created man in his image to be united with him.
Right.
And he intended man to be fully alive and realize his vocation of man. And at the men's conference, we're very intentional in finding speakers that will speak to that and help giving these men and these attendees hope.
Right. And you know what? Lots of hope, faith and hope. But I think it's going to be great. And I just noticed Stan is going to be the MC.
Yes.
Hey, what a great choice for an MC. He's so, I'm a product of Northside Independent School District. And, the athletic department, I'm a product of that, football and baseball. And I did hear Stan speak last year.
Yes.
And he was incredible.
Yeah, he was one of the keynotes last year, and we had high expectations, and he over-delivered even on those. Because
I knew he would.
Really
he was so well received when we had our weekly staff meeting the next week. Everyone was talking about how great Stan did.
Yeah.
So we're really thrilled that he's willing to come back as our MC, and the men are really going to enjoy it.
Right. Well, I tell you what, it's going to be great, but go ahead, Jason.
Oh, I was going to say that, our format, it's similar to last year. We've got our acclaimed speakers, which we'll talk more about, but, we're going to really emphasize, as we do with all of our conferences, the Holy Mass. It's always the high point of our daily pilgrimage, if you will, as Catholics, and we're going to emphasize that. We've got Bishop Michael Boulette, like you mentioned, celebrating. And, it's really special because February 22nd this year falls on the feast of, or our men's conference falls on the feast of the Chair of St. Peter.
Oh, nice.
So to have a bishop celebrating Mass in that line of apostolic succession, it's really going to be
That's beautiful.
A great joy. Yes, certainly. So beyond the Mass, we're going to have those speakers speak, Eucharistic healing service. We'll be distributing some of our resources that we have for spiritual community building. We have multiple priests signed up for confession so far. We'll give an exact count as to how many will be there as the event draws closer. We have a vendor selling religious items and the opportunity to meet the speakers like last year. So it's going to be a great day.
And, that's going to be exciting. But, are only Catholics able to attend, Jason Nunez?
Great question there. Great question. We welcome all men, Gordy, all men.
Beautiful.
Catholic, other faiths, no faith, in all states of life, whether you're single, you're married, you're widowed, you're divorced, whether you have children or you do not have children, you are invited to attend the Catholic Men's Conference. Jason Kelly mentioned confession, right? That's always an aspect of the Catholic Men's Conference where men take away and they share within their evaluation forms how much that impacted them.
Right.
Having the opportunity to attend confession at the conference, there's so many stories and more that we could share within this time we have here, but it's grace upon grace,
Confession, Mass, being in a state of grace.
Yes.
And, Father Ken Geraci and I, we were talking about that at our little conference in Midland. You have to be in a state of grace.
Yeah.
And it begins with confession. So you offer that. And, what are men, you just kind of said some feedback that, men have regarding the conference. What other feedback have you gotten from the conference that just makes you all light up?
Oh, sure. Overall, whenever men open up, that's an opportunity to lighten up, right? Because as men, we kind of tend to stay guarded.
Sure.
Just kind of, really, really high level. Men talk about wanting to deepen their prayer life, wanting to attend Mass with their family, which for some men is a big step. They may go to Mass by themselves, but opening the door to going with their family is also something that we've seen, attending adoration, becoming closer to the sacraments, and much, much more. It's definitely time well spent, and we invite all men to come.
Yes, and I want to take this time to just let everybody know I'm speaking with Jason Kelly and Jason Nunez from Pilgrim Center of Hope. And if you just tuned in, especially you men out there, the Catholic Men's Conference is coming up. It's going to be February 22nd. I've got it on my calendar. We'll be out there with a table, as always, Jason, and it's going to be fun. But to register, I want to encourage everybody to register, and it's going to be over at Holy Trinity Catholic Church, the banquet hall. It's going to be beautiful. Mass is going to be celebrated, as Jason mentioned, by Bishop Boulette. And registration, you can register at pilgrimcenterofhope.org. And so let's continue this conversation because I really want to get into, the speakers.
Yes.
And if y'all could talk about, Jim Beckman, and here's the speakers, Jim Beckman, Father Stephen Dufresne. Is that right?
Yes.
Dave Lambert. Let's talk a little bit about them and what they're going to bring and how powerful that's going to be.
Yeah, certainly. So overall, the first speaker we'll go and highlight is Mr. Jim Beckman. He is the director of the Impact Center. He is a ministry consultant, mentor, and serves as executive director of Impact Center, where he ministers to ministers.
Ministers to ministers.
Ministers to ministers, exactly.
Wow.
He also excels in inspiring fathers of teenage boys, walking with those who are suffering, and teaching about the immense power of prayer. Jim is the author of God Help Me, How to Grow in Prayer. So don't we all need that, right?
Yeah.
Don't we all need that? One, assistance from God, and two, to grow in our prayer life.
Absolutely.
I think it's very providential for Jim Beckman to be here as well because, it's what a lot of our retreatants are wanting is, how to overcome these trials that can deepen our faith, how we can know God is listening to us. So the speakers we had last year were right on point, and who we have coming this year with, as Jason Nunez was saying, Jim Beckman, also Father Stephen Dufresne of the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal. He's a friar, has been for 16 years, and a priest for 7.
Oh, wow.
Father Stephen, he currently serves as the Servant Superior of the Most Blessed Sacrament Friary in Newark, New Jersey. That's the community's novitiate house there. He'll present spiritual direction at the conference as well. Something I think we all go through is wrestling with God's will and how to move forward with that, with faith, courage, and clarity. He'll also lead us in Eucharistic adoration.
That's beautiful.
Right.
Yes.
At the end of the conference, it's kind of just put a big stamp on the conference.
Yeah.
And, last year we had Father Joseph Mary from EWTN take that place. And now we have Father Stephen Dufresne. And we're really excited. Yeah. I think it's going to be a message that our men are going to really receive well.
I'm an adorer, and I love my adoration hour every week. And, I had a priest one time tell me adoration is the highest form of reverence, right, to God. And I had never heard that. And, it's through adoration that a lot happens. And at the Catholic Men's Conference, just like at the Women's Conference, when you see that monstrance coming up the aisle, and it gives me chills right now talking about it.
Sure, yeah.
But it's so holy.
Yes.
And it just, like you said, Jason Kelly, it puts the stamp on the weekend. And I see so many, we all get on our knees, and we pray. And to see that at a conference, at a retreat, adoration to me is very powerful.
It is.
And you're really able to slow down and savor it as well. There's no time constraint.
Right.
The men are just there in that space and just ready to adore. And there's no need to rush in and out. You're just there in the presence of
300
Jesus.
to 400 men or women, or like 500 women.
Powerful.
In a big room, and you can hear a pin drop.
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing. If anything, when I'm at the conference, that is my favorite part. Because like I said, there's hundreds of people in the room, and it's quiet. Right. Nobody's sneezing, coughing. It's totally quiet. So I love that aspect. So Dave Lambert, tell me about Dave Lambert before we run out of time here.
Yes. So Dave Lambert, he's bringing more of like a local aspect to our conference this year in regards to where he's from. So Dave Lambert, he's a missionary of hope. He is what's known as a Shroud Ambassador, which means that he is a volunteer that helps Pilgrim Center of Hope in regards to all things Shroud, right? So we do have our Who is the Man of the Shroud exhibition that we touched on in the first segment. So Dave Lambert, he's going to give a Who is the Man of the Shroud presentation. And you may have heard this before if you're listening, but just know that this will be adapted especially for the men's conference this year, for the attendees.
Oh, cool.
So there's certainly going to be some differences if you've heard it in the past. Now, Dave is a retired U.S. Army colonel and is a parishioner of Saints Peter and Paul Catholic Church in New Braunfels, where there he serves as an RCIA instructor, among other ministries. Dave actually converted to the Catholic faith in 1980 after he experienced the Who is the Man of the Shroud exhibition at the Pontifical Institute Notre Dame of Jerusalem in the Holy Land as a pilgrim with Pilgrim Center of Hope. Dave became intrigued by the Shroud of Turin. So that experience in the Holy Land is what kicked off his interest and led him to becoming one of our Shroud ambassadors, which now he's going to give this presentation at the men's conference. Definitely, this is going to give that extra to the conference for these men. Right. We have recently given this presentation, not the exact presentation that Dave will give, but a Journey with the Shroud presentation to a group of men back in December. And you talk about a room full of men in silence. It wasn't 300 men. It was probably about 25 men, but it was silent because the information is captivating. It approaches it from a scientific aspect, from a mental aspect. It's really, really fascinating to sit and experience, because that's what it is. It's an experience.
Wow, I love that story, and I'm looking forward to hearing Dave Lambert, and the fact that he's right here in New Braunfels.
Right.
I mean, that's beautiful. Saints Peter and Paul, I love that parish.
Yes, that parish. Yes.
Beautiful parish, but I can't wait to hear him speak. And all the speakers are going to be encouraging, and I think it's just going to be a fun-filled weekend. And I want to remind everyone out there who's listening, go to pilgrimcenterofhope.org, and you can register there. You can also go by Pilgrim Center of Hope, because in the first segment we talked about, where do you get your passport for the Jubilee and the big celebration that Pilgrim Center of Hope is gearing up for. You can go there. You can take a picture with the Pope. There's a cutout, and like Jason Kelly said, you have to take a double take because it's so real, right?
Yes,
it looks so
it really
real.
Is.
But I want to encourage everybody to go over to Pilgrim Center of Hope, because it's a beautiful, beautiful campus. And Jason, you've got something to add there.
Yeah, I can. So definitely everyone's welcome to go to pilgrimcenterofhope.org and look at everything that we do have to offer. If you're specifically wanting Catholic Men's Conference information, you can go to cmcsanantonio.com. CMC for Catholic Men's Conference, so cmcsanantonio.com. That takes you straight to the information for the Catholic Men's Conference.
Right, and that's, cmcsanantonio.com. I should have mentioned that. You were pointing that out. I'm like, but, I still want to encourage everybody to go to Pilgrim Center of Hope.
Yes, by all means.
But yes, you men out there, or, you women who are listening who want to register your older children and their father or your brother or your cousin, CMC, that stands for Catholic Men's Conference, sanantonio.com. And then let's just give a little bit of history of how long Pilgrim Center of Hope has been doing has been conducting, men's conference, women's conference, and now you're bringing back the seniors conference.
Yes.
Right. Back in 2007, it was Deacon Tom Fox, one of our co-founders, who founded the Catholic Men's Conference, and for the purpose of really, as Jason Nunez alluded to, educating men both the teachings of the Catholic Church and of their personal dignity. This conference has been the fruit of many prayers and sacrifices of the women, actually, who started their women's conference even earlier, back in 2001. Right. So the women started 24 years ago.
Wow.
And then the men followed suit back in 2007. So it's been a great blessing. Mm-hmm. The men's conference has also had the blessing and support of the Archbishop Gustavo of San Antonio, and continues to be a source of inspiration and healing to men of all ages. And lastly, I'd like to mention that, the men's conference has also been given the apostolic blessing of Pope Benedict XVI. When I heard that, I was just floored.
Wow, that's a big bullet point right there.
Right. So, we've got everything that we need to have a grace-filled day, and we're just going to keep this tradition of the men's conference moving forward in 2025, this Jubilee year.
And this tradition it's going to keep going even when we're not here. And what, Pilgrim Center of Hope has done, to bring these Catholic women and Catholic men's conferences to San Antonio is just incredible. And I see people from the surrounding areas coming in droves. Like they all wear the same shirt. Right. Maybe they're from Uvalde at Sacred Heart, or maybe Fredericksburg at St. Mary's, or maybe even Kerrville,
Randolph
Notre
Air Force
Dame,
Base.
Randolph. Right. And you see them walking around, they're a group, they're tight, and they're going through it. They're walking in faith together.
Yes.
I love seeing that. Is there, so for groups out there, or parishes, maybe a parish would like to put together, a little congregation to attend. Do they call for pricing, or what do they do to register multiple people?
Yeah, so just to kind of help with that registration process, it probably would be best if they call us.
Okay.
So that way we can, of course, talk through that, right? And of course, you can call us at 210-521-3377 there. Yeah,
because I know, at a lot of parishes, like at Our Lady of Grace, when I went to my first Catholic Men's Conference, it was in 09 or 10, and y'all had just started in 07. But 09, I think I went in 09 because I went to Acts Retreat in 09, and part of that was let's go together to the men's conference, and we all had the same shirts on. I think we wore a red Acts Retreat shirt.
Yep, right.
And it was so cool. Somebody registered us. I don't know who, but we all had, lunch, and we all had, breakfast tacos. It was beautiful. Beautiful. So if you're a group out there, or you're a parish, or you're Knights of Columbus, and you want to bring all your knights, how's registrations looking right now? I should have asked you that.
So far, we've got those three levels we had mentioned about the individuals, fathers, sons, and centurions. We have all three that are signed up so far.
Okay.
I think we've got 20 to 30 registered, and we're trying to get to that 400 number in 40 days. So
let's get there.
We're in a sprint to the finish right now.
And we'll get there. Jason Nunez, Jason Kelly, thank you so much. Angela, thank you for coming in. Go to cmcsanantonio.com today. Go to cmcsanantonio.com. Thank you, everybody, for listening. God bless you. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.